Welcome to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to continue on with Act 7.2.1. We are working towards that Paragon title. We're getting right along. We're about a fourth of the way through right now, and this is going to be our push towards halfway. So first, right off the bat, you do get to select your boss for 5 of these levels. We'll talk about which boss we selected and which path here in just a moment. So let's take a look at the team that we decided to bring in here. We've got Archangel and Apocalypse and Cable, obviously for the synergy, so that I can Horseman Archangel a lot sooner. Also have Hercules and Nick Fury, and Nick Fury and Archangel as well as Apocalypse are major factors of bleed here. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in just 1 second. So let's go ahead and take a look at the path and what the nodes look like that we're going to be facing here today. I went with the bullet time ebb flow path here. Few advantages to this one. First off, with the bullet time, every time you try to stun an opponent, they will instead get an evade charge. As long as they have an evade charge, they have a 100% chance of evading any of your attacks. Now, every time that they evade an attack, they lose an evade charge. Now, if you dexed one of their basic attacks while they have evade charges on them, you'll remove all those evade charges in one chunk. And for everyone on them, they will actually take a 1.5 second stun. So if you actually stack some of them on there and then go ahead and dex out an attack real quick, you can turn around and benefit yourself by putting a good 10-15 second stun on them. And with enough damage, you can do quite a bit in that amount of time. So next, they have the ebb and flow. With this, they have a 60% reduction to all damage taken. Though, if you knock them down, that goes away, and you gain a fury, which increases your attack by 40%. For 12 seconds. Now, once those 12 seconds are up, any debuffs on the opponent are removed, and that protection shield giving them the 60% reduction to attack to damage does come back at that point in time. Lastly, they have bleed vulnerability. As long as the opponent is under the effects of bleed, your attack rating is increased by 200%. So this means that, like I said, bringing in Nick Fury, Archangel, and Apocalypse, so I can put consistent bleeds on opponents, is the primary way that I was looking at taking down this path. But like I said, if you stack up some of those evade charges on them and are able to remove them, you can buy yourself an opening there. Being able to knock the opponent down, you can do quite a bit. Then there's so many ways that you can boost your power and reduce theirs on this path that it does make it a fairly easy path to go through if you pick the right champions. So let's go ahead and look at who's on the path here. So we've got Spider-Gwen, Symbiote Supreme, Yellow Jacket, Thor, Wasp, and then finally Loki. After that, we went over to the selector for whether or not the boss. Now, we went with Moleman for this one. Now, Moleman also has the bleed vulnerability, which is absolutely wonderful because, again, didn't have to switch out our champions. Our past champions worked out great for him, especially considering we were bringing in 2 mutants anyways for bleed damage. Now, he also has Fight or Flight. That's where every 12 seconds, either him or you becomes unstoppable. If you're up close when that timer runs out, he gets the unstoppable. If you're far away from him when it runs out, you get the unstoppable. So make sure you're paying attention to that timer and make it and give yourself as much benefit towards you and as little benefit towards him. Also, on top of that, if you happen to intercept one of his medium attacks with an attack of your own, you can actually gain a fury buff, which will increase your attack rating by 200% over 5 seconds. Do keep in mind he is also incinerate immune, so there's no need to worry about any incinerate champions here. Not that there's too many outside of maybe like a Sunspot that you'd want to bring in for Moleman anyways. Like I said, Apocalypse, Archangel, perfect counters for him anyways. Um, Lastly, he has no hit mercy. Every time you knock him down, he gains a cruelty buff, which grants him 200% increase to his crit hit damage. So you do want to watch it after you knock him down for 10 seconds. You want to try and be careful about not taking hits off of him when he gets back up. So let's go ahead and get into the fights here and see how they went for me. For the most part, this one, like I said, really wasn't that bad. We were able to benefit a lot off of being able to get the bleeds going consistently with pretty much every one of the champions that we were looking at. Obviously, you can see there I let Spider Gwen get me a little bit in the beginning, but once we got a few of those bleeds build up on her, we were able to go ahead and take her down without having to worry about it too much. Obviously, it is going to bite us a little bit that we let that much damage get taken early on, but at the same time, we would turn around and brought in Apocalypse in here against Symbiote Supreme, got a few of those bleed counters on him, and we were able to start just eating away at his life. He took a little bit to go down, but to be truthful with you, compared to what Spider Glen did to Nick Fury, it really wasn't that bad. We were able to pretty much just kind of walk through him here. We did take a little bit of hit there off that SP2. Was baiting those out, but didn't have it quite set where I wanted it at, so kind of took that one. But we were able to finish him off, bring in Nick Fury again against Yellow Jacket, because of course we got the class advantage. Now, of course, we did take a lot of hit off of Spider Gwen there, so we were coming in a wounded sense anyways. So that did let him push us over into the true Nick Fury form. Still able to get him down without actually going down ourselves. Archangel, first time in with him, we did go ahead and horseman him. So we were going against Thor here. Obviously, class advantage again. Want to get those bleeds stacked up, get the neurotoxins on. We know that normally, even outside of a normal situation, outside of a situation where bleeds are so important, that'll normally take down any opponent anyways. But with the extra boost there, you can see we were able to eat him up. Wasp actually gave us a little bit of a trouble here. She's feisty at times. You kind of got to watch her. She has so much evade anyways, as well as the fact that she can pop those shock damages on you out of nowhere. So it's definitely one of those things that she fought us a bit. Took a little bit more out of the team than I wanted to admit. Obviously, you just watched me go down 3 times against her, and now we brought in Nick Fury for the final blow. Obviously, with more health than he really technically needs, because he was going to eat up all his health anyways. But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to slip up and just end up costing myself the revive anyways. So then we brought Archangel in. We healed him back up, knowing because he was probably going to carry quite a bit of the rest of the fights. Obviously, there's only the Loki fight and the Moleman fight left, so Loki's not too bad, getting through him easily enough. Now getting into Moleman, trying to get those bleed charges quickly onto him so that we can avoid dealing with some of that stuff. Unfortunately, that's where I kind of made the mistake, because I was spending way too much time up on him, which meant I was constantly giving him the unstoppable, so I was giving him the openings. Luckily enough, he didn't take advantage of them too much until about here. And so we were able to get a chunk off of him. But if I would have backed off consistently there, so that we could have picked up the unstoppables on myself, could have actually done quite a bit more. Nick Fury was already quite wounded, so bringing him in was going to be a long shot. Knew without the bleed damage that Hercules was going to be about the same. But at the same time, I mean, it's Hercules, and especially at this rank. Um, I knew I was going to be able to take a chunk on it off of him, no matter how badly the fight went. I again was not doing as well about staying off of him. I was being way too aggressive. So we ended up bringing in Apocalypse and bleeding him out and finished him off. So, I mean, it was a little bit more of a fight than it needed to be. And honestly, I could have probably brought in Apocalypse right away, or if I would have played a little less aggressive with Archangel, I think we could have gotten that down a lot easier. But we were still able to get through him and finish up the level. So that does open us up. We are pushing our way through. We're going to continue with this series throughout the rest of the week. I was actually doing calculations on it yesterday. We will have this series, we'll have Cavalier done by the end of the month as far as videos out, and that'll push us to just having the Paragon videos to finish up. So that'll push us into uh, first part of July, right about the time that we should have some really exciting things coming out. So I already have some big things planned for the channel. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to go ahead and finish up these series. We'll have our crystal opening on Monday. It'll probably be a little smaller this week. But still going to be exciting. Still going for that 6-star Wolverine. And I will be live on Sunday. Gonna have to see what we're gonna do because Battlegrounds did just come back, so we may do some Battlegrounds with people, or we may have some fun with the account again. I don't know. Stay tuned. Stop in. Having a great time lately, so I'd love to see you guys then. Until then, hope you guys are getting help out of these videos and getting on further, getting those progressions in, and I will see you back for the next one. Peace out.